Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to talk about a topic that generates a lot of controversy among Christians: tattoos. After all, does the Bible prohibit tattoos or not? What does this topic have to do with our Christian life? Many people wonder whether getting a tattoo is a sin, whether it pleases or displeases God. Let's analyze what the Bible really says about this, considering the historical, theological context, and its applications for today. Let's go. Tattoos have existed for thousands of years and were used in different civilizations, such as Egypt, China, indigenous tribes, and Eastern cultures. Many times, they were associated with religious rituals, social group identification, or even criminal punishments. In ancient Rome, slaves and soldiers were tattooed for identification. During the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church viewed tattoos as something pagan and condemned them. In Japan, criminals were tattooed so they could be easily recognized. In the West, tattoos were seen as a symbol of rebellion, linked to sailors, gangs, and prisoners. In the 21st century, tattoos became popular and started to be considered a form of personal and artistic expression. So, what does the Bible say about tattoos? Leviticus 19 verse 28 states, "Do not cut your bodies for the dead or put tattoo marks on yourselves. I am the Lord." This verse is in the Old Testament, within the laws given to Israel. The historical context shows that the pagan peoples around Israel made cuts and tattoos as part of rituals for the dead and the worship of false gods. God wanted the people of Israel to be separated from these practices. In the Old Testament, there are many laws that we do not follow today, such as not cutting the hair on the sides of the head, Leviticus 19 verse 27, not wearing clothes made of two types of fabric, Leviticus 19 verse 19, not eating pork or shrimp, Leviticus 11 verses 7 to 12. This shows that some laws were specific to the people of Israel at that time. What is hermeneutics? Hermeneutics is the science of correctly interpreting biblical texts, considering the historical, cultural, and theological context. We must understand whether a commandment was specific for a time, or if it is an eternal principle. Common interpretation mistakes. Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Many people use this verse to say they can do anything, but in context, Paul is talking about facing financial difficulties. If we apply Leviticus 19 verse 28 literally, we would have to follow all the other laws in the same chapter. In Moses' time, tattoos were linked to idolatry and pagan practices. God wanted Israel to be different from the neighboring nations. Today, tattoos do not have this direct connection to idolatry in many cultures. Jesus brought a new covenant, freeing Christians from the ceremonial laws of the Old Testament. Mark 7 verse 19 says, Jesus declared all foods clean, showing that some old laws no longer apply. Galatians 3 verses 23 to 25 states, the law was a tutor until Christ, but now we live by faith. The New Testament does not mention tattoos, which shows that this is not a focus of the Christian faith. The body as the temple of the Holy Spirit. 1 Corinthians 6 verses 19 to 20 states, Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, who is in you? This verse is often used to argue against tattoos. In context, Paul is talking about sexual immorality, not tattoos. The general principle is that we should take care of our bodies and not do anything that harms us physically or spiritually. Tattoos and the mark of the beast. Apocalypse 13:16-18. Some people believe tattoos could be the mark of the beast. However, Apocalypse is a highly symbolic book. Apocalypse 14:1 talks about the saints having the name of God marked on their foreheads. The mark of the beast represents submission to the Antichrist system, not necessarily a physical tattoo. The meaning of tattoos in today's context. Today, tattoos are no longer directly associated with idolatry. What matters is the motivation behind the tattoo. If the tattoo glorifies God and has a positive meaning, it is different from a tattoo with satanic or obscene symbols. Christian testimony and cultural influence. Some cultures still see tattoos as something negative. 1 Corinthians 8 verse 9 says, "Be careful that your freedom does not become a stumbling block for the weak." If a tattoo is going to scandalize someone or harm your testimony, it is good to reflect before getting one. Therefore, think carefully before getting a tattoo, as it is permanent. Choose a design or message that glorifies God. Avoid tattoos with negative symbols or meanings. Make sure you are doing it for a valid reason, not just a trend. Choose a professional and hygienic tattoo artist to avoid health problems. Consider how the tattoo might impact your professional and ministry life. Therefore, we conclude that the Bible does not give a definitive answer on tattoos, but it provides principles to guide our decisions. The most important thing is the heart's motivation and the impact of the tattoo on spiritual life and Christian testimony. I encourage every Christian to seek wisdom and guidance from God before making a decision. Do you think tattoos can glorify God? Leave your comment below.